What's up, people? Welcome to the Football Technician. My name is Zach, and this is my new channel. This is my first video on the channel, so I am hoping that I can get 5 to 10 likes at least on my channel. So I'm hoping that you guys can help me get to that goal. That would be much appreciated. And if you could also subscribe, that would be so much appreciated. Sadly, I couldn't get my video done before the deadline last week because there was just so many things about copyright issues and technical issues. So I'm very sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, it was mad. But we live and we learn. So in this video, we're going to be starting from Gameweek 2, but I am going to show you guys how I did in Gameweek 1 and what my team looked like. Here you can see my team from last week, and starting in goal was Robert Sanchez, who had Crystal Palace at home, and he got the clean sheet. He got 8 points. I think he got 1 extra bonus point and another point for 4 saves, I think. Good performance. Wasn't the best performance from Chelsea, to be honest. I think Crystal Palace defended really well. I still don't really know how the Eze goal got disallowed, but for FPL, I'm quite happy. And then my 3 defenders, I had Tottenham defence against Burnley at home, 3-0 win for Spurs. They played really well. Clean sheet for Porro, completely happy with that. No attacking returns, but at least they got the clean sheet, which is what a defender should be doing. Nico Williams, who stunk up the place, he got 1 point against Brentford. Conceded a silly penalty for handball, really frustrating. Hopefully they can get a clean sheet in their next game against Crystal Palace. And then we move on to my midfield. I had Cole Palmer, who had Crystal Palace at home and stunk up the place once again. Once again, no assists, no goals. So frustrating. I'm giving him 2 more strikes. If he doesn't do anything, he's out of my team because I've had enough of this Cole Palmer fraud. And then we also had new signing Florian Wirtz, who again got 2 points. But I watched the game, and to be honest, he didn't play bad. He just couldn't get an FPL return. So disappointing, but hopefully he can come back against Newcastle away, which is going to be a tough game for Liverpool at St James's Park. Sorry, my throat. I don't know what happened there. My third midfielder was Morgan Rogers, who had Newcastle at home, was fit for the game, was thankful for that. I did a last minute transfer with him, swapped him in for Iliman Ndiaye. Very happy about that because Everton were poor against Leeds and they didn't really offer anything in the attack, so I was very happy that I did a last minute switch. But even though I did a last minute switch, Morgan Rogers didn't even do anything anyway. Got 3 points, 2 points and then a clean sheet point. Aston Villa were really poor against Newcastle. I was actually expecting them to win the game, as I thought Newcastle would be under a little bit of pressure after everything that's going on with Alexander Isak. So I kind of thought that Aston Villa would kind of beat Newcastle, but Newcastle surprisingly played really well. Should have really won the game. And then the 4th midfielder I had was Mohamed Kudus, who had Burnley at home, who returned for me really well, got 10 points, 2 assists, with a clean sheet point as well, 1 bonus point. Really good, brilliant cross, and Richarlison with a brilliant overhead kick as well to make it 2-0. And then I think he got the assist for Richarlison's first goal as well. So really good from Kudus. So now we're moving on to my forwards. And I had Erling Haaland, the big man, who was my captain for Wolves away. Absolutely smashed it with 26 points, getting 13 points for 2 goals. Brilliant performance by Haaland and Man City. But I told you in my previous video to go with Haaland over Salah. So now you know to listen to me because I have good advice for FPL. Second forward was Ollie Watkins, who I already spoke about when I was talking about Morgan Rogers. Poor performance from Aston Villa, poor performance from Watkins and the whole team, to be quite honest. So then my final forward was West Ham striker Nicholas Fulkrug from West Ham. Had Sunderland away. On paper it looked really good, but West Ham, it was an absolute disaster for them, losing 3-0 to Sunderland in their first game. Sunderland playing really well, to be quite honest. I was completely shocked. I was thinking about putting Bowen in my team. Thank goodness I didn't do that. I went with the cheap player Nicholas Fulkrug, and he played absolutely awful. West Ham were terrible and Sunderland were really, really good. I actually activated my bench boost for game week 1, so all the points on my bench counted, and I had Dubravka on my bench who got a 2, but to be quite honest, he was playing Tottenham away. I was just hoping that he can make some saves and kind of rack up those save points to hopefully make his score better. So he got 2 points, lost a point for conceding 3 goals, which was a bit annoying, but yeah. And then I had new Man City signing what's his name? Sorry. What's actually Man City new signing Tijani Reinders, who had Wolves away in his first game and absolutely smashed it. 1 goal, 1 assist. I think he's an absolute steal for 5.5 million as well. I think he went up in price to 5.6. So if you want to transfer him in, you got to be quick. And then I had Ezri Konsa on my bench, who actually got a red card in that game for Aston Villa. That was the player that got sent off for them going down to 10 men. I was so happy because he got a red card after the 60th minute, which meant that he got his clean sheet. And then obviously he got sent off, so it meant -3 points. So he got me a nice little 3. And that was how the team did. It came up to a total of 85 points. So I was really happy. I finished it, I think it was around 81k. So yeah, that was a really good start to the FPL season for me. Now let's have a look at my team for game week 2 and see what that's going to look like. So my team for game week 2 is looking like this. I'm not going to be making any transfers this week. My reason for that is that my team on paper looks quite good, and I structured my team for at least good fixtures for the first 3 to 4 games. So yeah, that is the reason why I'm not going to be making any transfers this week. However, I am going to be doing substitutions because of suspensions. So the formation I'm doing is a 3-5-2. My team for game week 2 looks like this. So starting in goal is Robert Sanchez in goal, who's got West Ham away in the second game, and I'm hoping that he can get a clean sheet. So my first defender I've got in my team is going to be Pedro Porro, who's got a very tough game away at Manchester City in the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. He was originally going to be on the bench, but because Konsa had got a red card in the first game, it means that Porro is going to have to play. But to be honest, I'm not too upset about him playing because he can offer goal threat and crosses into the box. So hopefully he can get some assists and some defensive contributions against Man City. So my second defender is going to be Nico Williams, who's got a trip to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in the Sunday 2 PM kickoff. I'm hoping that he can get a clean sheet in this game, but to be honest, I won't be surprised if Crystal Palace score. They were really good against Chelsea, and they actually showed some good goal threat as well, so I do think that they'll score against Nottingham Forest. I'm hoping not, but I do think Palace will score. So then my final defender is going to be West Ham left back Malik Doif, who's got Chelsea at home. Again, he had to kind of play because Konsa got injured. Konsa actually had a good fixture against Brentford, but he's suspended. So that means that Doif has to come in. Got Chelsea at home. Don't really see a chance of a clean sheet. Just hoping that he can get maybe an assist. So now we move on to the midfield, where I've got Cole Palmer playing against West Ham away. The fixture's there. It's just whether Palmer is going to perform. Hopefully he can. So my second midfielder is going to be Florian Wirtz, who's got a trip to Newcastle away on a Monday Night Football. This should be a good game and will be a difficult game for Liverpool. I'm hoping that he can get some assists and goals in that game. And I've seen that people have been selling him. I think that's a bit premature, because over one game where it's his debut against Bournemouth, I don't really think you should be selling him over one game. I do think if you are going to get rid of him, you could maybe do it after the Newcastle game or maybe even the Arsenal game. I don't think you should be wasting transfers. So the third player I've got is Morgan Rogers, who's got Brentford away. Hopeful for some goals and assists. Brentford were really poor against Nottingham Forest, conceding goals for fun really. So I've got Rogers as my third midfielder. Then my fourth midfielder, I've got Mohamed Kudus, who goes away to Man City in the 12:30 kickoff at the Etihad. It should be a difficult game for Spurs, but I do think that they'll get a goal. So I'm hoping that Kudus can get some goals and assists in that game as well. So my fifth midfielder is Tijani Reinders, who plays against Spurs at home. Hopefully get some more goals and assists like he did in the first game. He's going to be an absolute steal this season for 5.6 mil. Now he's gone up in price, originally 5.5. I think he'll be really good this season for Man City. Now we're going to move on to the forwards, and my first forward I've got is Erling Haaland, who's actually going to be my captain for Spurs at home. I'm hoping that he can get some more goals. Hopefully he can get another brace, even a hat-trick, hopefully. So yeah, I'm hoping that Haaland can perform against Spurs. I do think it will be more difficult, because I do think that Spurs will potentially go to a 3 at the back with 2 fullbacks. So it could be maybe potentially a 5 at the back like they did against PSG in the Super Cup. But hopefully City can break them down, and Haaland and Reinders can get me some points. My final forward I've got in my team is Ollie Watkins, who's got Brentford away. Hopefully Watkins can get me some goals and assists on Saturday, as he didn't perform against Newcastle. So I'm hoping that he can get some goals in his second game. Alright guys, so that is the end of the video. Please share your opinions in the comments of what your team looks like and what I could do better with my team. And I'd really appreciate it if you can like, comment and subscribe. Hopefully praying that I can get 5 to 10 likes on my first video. And I'd really appreciate if that could happen. And I'll be seeing you after game week 2.